Alright guys, it is Blockchain coming at you with another technical analysis update. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Corey, aka Blockchain. Starting off on my website, blockchaintrading.com. The link is below. Biggest thing I want to highlight in there is a quick description of the exclusive Discord that we have in there for technical analysis, options alerts, and crypto alerts. So no matter what market you're in, we have you covered. So a little intro about us. The three different levels of membership between the monthly, yearly, and lifetime. Starting off on the yearly, you actually get the full six segmented trading class that I have that covers a lot of the trading essentials that I use in my technical analysis, so you can follow along with me. And then, of course, the #1 trading strategy that I use for free. Just fill this little guy out, and I'll send you a video demonstration on my #1 trading strategy that is consistent, profitable, reliable, and applicable to any market. So make sure you guys get in there and check it out, as well as with a couple testimonials here. So definitely get on, check it out. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the Discord. So let's go ahead, and speaking of which, I guess the Discord, let's take a quick look so that way you guys can see what's going on in there. So from a crypto perspective, we have KJ. He alerted us of a 122% gainer today. And then in the traditional markets, if you missed the last week, we have... Where is it? Where's his rundown? These are all the ones he had today. So last week he actually had like 3% or 3,000% confirmed profits from his calls last week. 2,000 the week before, 1,500 the week before. So just absolutely killing it. And then of course, and you can see some of our members' gains that we have here. So actually a couple option calls that I've had there. I had 1,000% gainer from my technical analysis that I posted. MDU Chow, sitting quite nicely with over 30,000% profit on some of his trades that he's been in. So all good stuff. So hopefully I'll catch you guys in there. But let's go ahead and dive into the charts. All right, guys, it is Blockchain coming at you with another technical analysis update. Sorry I did not get a video up yesterday. I got too busy, and by the time I was going to do one, it was 11 o'clock my time, and just wasn't going to happen. So let's go ahead and dive into Bitcoin here and take a look at the daily, which is closing in 1 hour and 49 minutes. You can see from our price action, 44,700. We were sitting right on top of this support where we came down and we tagged. We did get bought back up a little bit, but kind of just dancing around on top of it. So 44,400 is our first area of support. You can see we did break the 200 SMA, and looks like we're about to have a daily close below that if the bulls don't step in and pop it right back up. We definitely have a few areas of support as well as we continue to go down. We have the next one here on the daily right here at 43,200. Ideally, what I would not like to do is break the prior low, which is basically 43,800 off of this one on a daily closure. Like to see from a bullish perspective to keep making higher highs and higher lows at the same time. All is well in regards to the overall trend. You can see that we do have the block bot on there, and for those of you who are in the premium Discord, that will be yours shortly. Actually, this week you will actually get the buy and sell signals with take profits, all that good stuff. So I'll stay tuned for that. I'll do a whole little video on the block bot indicator. A couple other things I'm looking at in regards to the daily RSI. We are curling back down, and honestly it would make a little bit more sense for us to potentially come down to 43.3 or even come back down 44,300 and bounce off of the bottom of the bullish control zone and have that as a test. But you can also see how much RSI is resetting with this move down versus this one here. This one was a pretty small move compared to what this one is. So we are seeing from here to here, we are getting a little bit of bullish divergence printing out, and we'll look at that on some of the smaller time frames at the same point. As we look at a as we dive in. Let's see, we can see the VWAP is curling back down a little bit, so that is a little bit more of a leading indicator that we will have a little bit continued downside, but the money flow index is still looking good, and some strength, so this could be a little bit of our pullback. Let's take a quick look at the 16. Let's see, you can see that we are about to test the support 44,100. We'll just call it 44K. You can see we are on the bottom of the volume band as well, also right at the 50. So it is primed to have some support, roughly around that $4,400 mark. And let's see, VWAP is also starting to curl back down. Money flow is negative, but we are, again, kind of testing some of these support zones as we go into some of the smaller time frames. Let's see, 8 hour, you can see that we did break out of the volume band on the 8 hour, which is, again, a little bit more of a leading indicator for continued downside. We broke out of it, retested the external, and actually bounced off of it. So we are now finding a little bit of support here on the top of the bullish control zone, which does kind of go through and line up and match for this pivot right here at 4,400. So I think we'll, continue to dance around basically down to 4,400, see what that looks like as support, and see if the bulls will step in on that aspect. Same thing, where we are right at the 40, which is also another support zone within the bullish control zone here. Let's see, VWAP curled down a little bit. BBWP is pretty much exhausted. And yeah, kind of same thing with the 4 hour. We were actually testing the bottom of the bearish control zone before potentially breaking out. You can see a little bit more on the 4 hour. Where we are actually coming down, testing the pivot, as well as testing the trend on the block bot as well. So that lines up in some confluence with having some support here on the 4 hour. And even from this guy here, we are potentially looking at printing out some bullish divergence if that stays true. If that comes down and tests the bottom, where we would have ever so slightly. So that's something to, again, just kind of pay attention and be aware of. Let's see, the market liberator is also getting a little exhausted as well on the 4 hour. And let's just go ahead and dive straight into the 1. And let's see if we can get any kind of, wave structure from this perspective to see if we can try and get us a little bit more better information. So 1 hour, again, definitely quite oversold on the market liberator, and we did break outside on the bottom of the bearish control zone. So I guess potentially finding a little bit of support here on the volume band. So this is going to be my first zone of support, 44,100, for us to potentially come back down and take a look at. Let's go to 2. I just want to try and see some structure here. And let's take this off. So overall, what I've been looking at is either this is a potential 5th wave, basically from the bounce at 29K. So I'll look at this as a little bit more. This is our wave 1, this is our 2, and then we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5. So that's our 3rd, and then this would be the 4th, and then this would be a 5th right here. So this could potentially be a finished wave 1. The other argument potentially is that this would be our wave 1, this would be our 1, 2, 3, and then this whole thing right here would be a B, and a C, so that'd be a 4, and then this basically would be a larger wave 5. So if this is a wave 1, this would basically be our wave 2, and then this potentially would be looking at as a wave 1. This is our 2, and going up for a 3rd inside of our wave 3. So we'd be looking at something a little bit larger, such as a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and 5 as we go up. So if that is the case, some overall larger targets we could be looking at. Let's see here. So our wave 3, that would put us at roughly 68K. Obviously have a decent pullback on wave 3. And then wave 5 will park us right at 86. And that's if things don't get overextended, and if this is the actual wave 1. If this is a wave 1 inside the wave 3, I would lean more of this being the start of it right here. And look at this as a 1, 2, this would be a 3, 4, and then this would be a 5. And then this would be the 4th, and then that would be the 5th. And then this right here basically would be our 2. To come back down, retest come back down, retest 44. Ideally, looking for 44 to hold. Again, because I would like to see a higher low get set in, because we've just been killing it with the higher highs and the higher lows from a bullish perspective. So I would lean more of us for to come back down, retest the 44, and then potentially use that to bounce off of and continue on the uptrend. I guess at the moment it could be a WXY. And if we do zoom in, pull some fibs off of the WXY, you can see that we do have some support right here at the 1.382, as well as these EMAs right here at the 1.618 right below it. So even here on the 2 hour, these have been holding us up quite well. As even through this correction here, we came back down, found them a support. Again, right on the pivot, and same thing, we're also right here on the pivot. So I like to see that hold and potentially blast off. So I'll be looking at potentially taking some other longer entries, depending what the what it looks like as we get down here to 44,100. So let's go ahead and dive into ETH real quick. I'm already at 10 minutes, so I'll try and speed things up a little bit here on ETH. Possibly. Maybe. There we go. All right. Perfect. All right. So on the daily here on ETH, let's just take that off. All right. Cool. All right, so you can see that we are right here on the R2. Currently finding the support at the $3,000 level with a couple of EMAs hovering right below us. You can see we are actually diving, pretty heavily with this overall kind of archway formation that we have and RSI. So I'd expect us to come back down and test the bottom of the bullish control zone. ETH hasn't done that yet versus Bitcoin has. So that is to be expected for us to touch it and test it at some point. You can see we're getting a little bit of a curl down on the VWAP. Bunny flow is still positive, and we're seeing a lot of the blue waves reset actually quite nicely here on the daily. If we look at the 16-hour on ETH, we are approaching the top of the bearish control zone, which I would assume we would find support. Also, BBWP is on the floor. So I wouldn't actually expect to move down to the next support zone at 26.92 on this one. 29.90, maybe a smidge below that. That's where our prior low was. 29.70 basically. Meanwhile, we have been actually printing bullish divergence quite nicely on ETH. as we continue to come in and set in higher lows, RSI has been resetting and actually setting in lower lows. So that with BBWP, I would actually expect a pretty decent move coming up in the near future, whether probably over the next, was the 16-hour, Wednesday, Thursday. I would expect a pretty decent move and start to get a little bit more of a direction here on the BBWP. Yep, let's take a look at the 8. Alright, man, 8-hour BBWP is on the floor. RSI, we did break into the bearish control zone, so I would expect to find a little bit of support here on the 40. And if we don't get a cross of the blue waves to the upside, and we have our continued downward momentum, we could actually be breaking down. So for us to stay bullish, I would expect for us to, again, hold that $3,000 as support. I'd expect to bounce here on the 40. I'd like to see a cross of the blue waves and a break up on the BBWP with those. Would all be a good sign and good indicator that we are going to get a pretty decent upward move. Let's take a quick look at the 6. Probably not a lot different. Nope, pretty much the same. And then the 4, yes, kind of similar to what Bitcoin is, where we actually have the RSI pretty much on the floor of the bearish control zone. A lot of these crawling back down, money flow index is negative. It is interesting, we're starting to see the BBWP curl up on a downward move, but with the indicators fairly exhausted, I wouldn't necessarily expect a ton of continuation going into it. So I'd kind of expect some consolidation here around the $3,000 mark on ETH before potentially having a break. And then let's take a quick look at the 1. And yeah, definitely in the oversold territory here. Let's go back and take a quick look at the 2, and again, just try to identify some wave structure. So we can see from what I was looking at earlier with Bitcoin and a wave structure, it's a little bit messier on ETH, honestly. But I would look at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5. Let's make this a little bit bigger here. Alright, so basically we did a 1, 2, 3. I'm almost think this would have to be the 3. That's the 4, and this is the 5. And this would be the 4th wave inside the third wave. So I'd look at this as potentially a wave 1. And if that's the case, let's pull a fib on this guy. Where would that put us? So we got up to the 1.236. So what we could be looking at is, if this is a third wave, this would be a 1, 2. This would be a 3, 4, and then a 5. If we get our bounce up, depending if this holds. So this would be our 1, 2. This would overall be the 3rd. Because if we have this, I would look at this as our 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then potentially like an ending diagonal potentially on this guy. And then So that would give us a target of the next leg up at about 3,800. But again, would like to see the $3,000 level hold as support. I think that would be pretty important here on ETH. Kind of similar to Bitcoin, the $44,000 level. Like to see those two areas hold. We can dance around it, establish it as support, but I really wouldn't want to see a heavy break of it. Because if this is, let me take these ones off. So it would be our 1, 2, 3. We'd basically come back down, probably test the same area again, and go up again for a 5th, which would give us a target of about, what was that, 4,700. Again, if things don't get overextended. And if this is, let's see. Yeah, that matches right up with the 382. We could come down, or the 236. We could come down to the 382 at 2,800. I wouldn't really want to see that. I'd really like to see the 382 hold if we are going to stay bullish. I'm almost wondering if this is the 382 as well. We came in and went right below it. We kind of just did a quick wick right through it, but we tagged the 382 on this one as well. So I'd like to see the 382 hold and get a nice little bounce off of that. So bulls need to step in my opinion, in the fairly near future if we are going to see some continuation to the upside. So let's see what the bulls got. Let's see what the bears got. I think it's going to be a bit of a battle today, and we'll see what kind of continuation what we get, whether it's to the upside or the downside. But we will see. Something to pay attention to. So hopefully I catch you guys in the Discord. Again, guys, smash likes, hit that subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the Discord. If not, I'll catch you on the next video. Good afternoon, good evening, and or good night.